Dear friends, this is, all being well, the final Bible study I will prepare in this way. Last Sunday morning I drove round and found the majority of our local churches were open. Bethany reopened on July the 5th. Ford Houses will reopen next Sunday, August the 2nd. The service will be rather different from usual, and one of the main differences is that only 30 people will be admitted. To book your seat now for any or all of the 5 Sunday mornings in August, please telephone me, Stephen, on 01902 398 347 or my new mobile 0770 4000 298. If you do not book but show up, you will have to see if seats are available or not on the day. It would be good to start back strongly on the 2nd. God bless you all, Stephen. Here is Bible study number 14. Martha and Mary receive Jesus. Please read Luke chapter 10 verses 38 to 42, which read like this. At the home of Martha and Mary. As Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. In recent weeks, we have looked at various men, Peter, Paul, Daniel, Nicodemus, and the centurion at the cross, at critical moments in their lives. I thought we should conclude by looking at someone female, and although there are less female characters in the Bible, there are two sisters that we look at today, Mary and Martha. Question: who seems to have been the older sister? Pause. Well, it was Martha's house, so presumably she was the elder. As the elder sister, she seems to have felt the responsibility of Jesus' presence very keenly. Question: how seriously do you take your responsibilities? Are there responsibilities that are non-negotiable? In other words, things you would not possibly consider ignoring or giving up? Pause. Jesus challenges the status quo in several ways here. Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet. Question: what was wrong with that? Pause. In a segregated society, Mary was not supposed to be sitting where she was. Indeed, the women, except for serving the food, were to stay in a separate room altogether. Social distancing, even in the absence of any pandemic, this was. Certainly it was not a woman's place to be sitting at the feet of the Master, studying theology with his disciples. Martha was doing what she was supposed to be doing, according to tradition, and she expected Mary to be helping her. Jesus does not insist on these traditions being upheld. Question: many of us would identify strongly with Martha, some more with Mary. What traditions do we have in our homes or at church that we feel can never change? Pause. Perhaps the most radical proposal implied by Jesus is that to follow social tradition is a choice. Martha was overwhelmed by the pressures and demands of domestic responsibility. Simply to put it down and walk away was unthinkable for her. This is the housewife's equivalent to Jesus' words to the rich young ruler in Mark 10. Go, sell all that you have, and come, follow me. Stop your routine, says Jesus. The routine may not be that of greatest importance. I know someone who goes to the supermarket at a certain time on a certain day every week, an unbreakable routine. She also washes clothes at a certain time on a certain day each week, hoovers the house at another time on another day, and etc. And she ends up with a life that is bound up in a fixed and immovable routine. You may be surprised if I say that good things are to emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. The virus has stopped in its tracks many of our routines. We can now then step back and re-evaluate what is truly important, and that is surely a good thing. Has our attendance at church been sporadic at best? Do you really think that coming once a month and ignoring completely the opportunity for worship and fellowship on a Sunday evening and for group Bible study and prayer reflect a sound and ever-deepening faith in Jesus? Well, be honest. Is your faith something you can easily set aside like a dirty piece of washing? Or is it the absolute bedrock of your life? Are we bound by routine, or can we break out like Mary, who receives Jesus' praise for it? Question: which of the following words and phrases would you use to describe your life? A daily adventure, mundane, repetitive, exciting, dull, faithful, doubting, trusting in self, trusting in Jesus. Add your own words and pause. There is a danger of missing out on some of the best opportunities life holds for us if we assume that what is already in place is all there is and can never be changed. I have been with many people who were dying, and some have gone to death with words like this: I have lived a full life, I have no regrets. Whilst others have confessed that there were so many things they intended to do, but never got around to them. Which might you be? There are many reasons we fail to break out of constricting routines. My husband would never allow it. I couldn't possibly because I have a family. I have a big mortgage, so I have to keep working all hours and days. Such reasons are sincerely offered, but are as immovable as mountains. Our daughter and son-in-law and children have just uprooted their lives and moved to live in Hamburg in Germany, being called by God to plant a church of their denomination there. He has a good job working for Abbott Pharmaceuticals. Several friends expressed the view that they were crazy, moving to a foreign land, having to learn a new language, and how will the children cope in school? But we ignore God's call at our peril. We're talking about the same Jesus who said, truly I say to you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20. Question: suppose Mary and Martha had a third sister, and that was you. What would you have done when the great teacher Jesus came to your home that evening? Pause. In verse 40, Martha does two things that we should really never do. One, she questions Jesus' love. Do you not care? She says. The love Jesus has for each and every person is full and complete. He knows the number of hairs on your head. Not so hard for the bald ones among us. He looks after the entire planet, and you and me as well. God is love, and Jesus shows his fullness to us. Question: have you ever questioned Jesus' love for you? Pause. If you have, it's not the end of the world. The Psalms are full of doubt. Jeremiah and many of the prophets and even the disciples at times wondered. If you will draw nearer to the Lord, you will know just how much he loves you. 2. She gives Jesus orders. Tell her to help me. Jesus is in charge. He gives us our daily orders. Trying to tell him what he should or shouldn't be doing is a waste of time at best and total insolence at worst. Can you think of others who ordered Jesus about? Peter, Pilate, James and John's mother? Question: have you ever demanded Jesus to do this or that for you? Pause. The outcome was probably not that great. We serve in humility. Nothing was really wrong with what Martha was doing. But in Jesus' words, Mary has chosen what is better: to be with Jesus and to wait on his every word. How will you choose today? Amen.